Suma suma. Wale wa amapiano waka waka. Waka waka. Shout out to a lot wa amapiano. Wani adu wa amapiano. Shout out to amapiano people. Now, the whole country is in anxiety. So, the feeling, and you can pick it, it's people being anxious. They are anxious of something, anxious of some change, anxious of something. So, what is anxiety? So, anxiety is every time you are getting ready to go into a new area, to go into what you can call a dark area, to go into what you can call a maze, to go into what you can call no way out. So, and this is even how they make the video game. You have to understand that when you have a video game, they have to create a maze. The best part in a video game is when you get to a line and you're not even sure. You have no way out or no way in. Okay, so that's how you create a video game, by creating anxiety. There's no video game. Shout out to Duokaremire. There's no video game whereby in that video game it will be a bestseller unless there's what you call anxiety level. You are scared of the unknown. It's a door. It's a maze. You don't know what's behind the door. There's a shade, a maze, a days, all the way to your days and the days of your life. And why even your life has always kept you anxious and you're always looking for answers. Okay, it's because you're afraid of the unknown. You're not even sure of tomorrow. So you're afraid of dying. So you're always in an anxious position. Now, so, shout out to Murari Dewanya with the soul group in the show, soul group in the house. So now, you know that in my page, we don't do pondering. There's no pondering on the pages of Jegawa Mudhaka. You always get it raw. Shout out to all my queens. So now, when we come to the page and we are looking at things spiritually speaking, because we all come from a spiritual position first before we get here, you have to know that every time you expand, you are going into a new space. So expansion is going to a new pace. And when you're going to a new space, you are going to a new territory. And any new territory can be a location, a person, place, or thing, meaning you are learning something new. There is growth. There is friction. You are learning something new. If it's a new place, you are seeing new things, new visions, new sunsets, new drives, new cars, new everything. If it's a person, you have new vibes, better kisses, better orgasms. All those are new territories that come with a new space. So expansion comes from going into a new space. Now contraction is all that south node energy. You are going back to your cell. You are going back to the sperm head. You are going more home, or you are going back to what is more familiar. You are going back to your roots. You are going back to Kemet. You are going back to Osokero Emukaro. You are going back to what is more familiar. And when you are going back to what is more familiar, that's this contraction. You are scared of expansion, and that is death. That is all that south node energy. Okay? So we know in life is about a pulse, expansion, contraction. So expansion, new spaces, new growth, new relationships, new wives, new children, new better things. Contraction, south node energy, back to the cell, back to the roots, back to familiar people, places, and things. You are scared of expansion. There's no growth without expansion. Now, sometimes it is useful to expand, and sometimes it is also useful to contract. For example, you are stepping on too many toes. Okay, so you're not being humble, but then you can decide to contract a little bit, aka withdraw, take a step back because haujafika hiyo kiwango. Okay, that thing can be too impactful for you. If you go into that new territory, you are going to be too impacted by either a situation or circumstances. For example, you wanted to be voted somewhere, elected, okay? And then when you get to that position, since it's a new territory, you are given money and you back down, okay? So you decide to be humble. You're not supposed to be humble. You're always supposed to be, never be humble, always be modest. Now, depending on whether you can see your worth in that thing, okay? Because that is what, so you only go to new places if you feel that you are worthy. You're only going to go into a new relationship if you feel worthy of a new relationship. Okay? You're only going to go into a new place if you are feeling you are worthy that place. Because I'm worthy to go anywhere. But then I've gone with people somewhere and I've left them at the door. They're like, I need you to ko. I ko toko irwatia. I agaku kweda mahana fulani. I ko digeigira. You see? So it all comes from a self-worth. What is your self-worth? Wanonaduma keihuria. Now they are members of parliaments. They started with bicycles and everything. Shout out to those people who are the last general elections. They were doing what you call campaigning with bicycles. So now let's get back to the video. There's not that kind of video, but I'm gonna go political today. Books, mind the Duncans, shout out to the soul group. So now, what is an anxiety? So to be anxious means you are going to a new portal. Now we are about to go deep. You are going to new experiences. Okay? What is an experience? An experience is a light form. It's a thought and feeling. It's your Adam and Eve. It's your Gikoyo and Mombi. Okay? Whatever you want to call it. It is your masculine and feminine. Your thought and feeling. And this is what you call fire, the thought, feeling, the emotion. So you have your fire and you have emotion. So you have your 6-pointed star. Okay? When you invert it. And that 6-pointed star becomes that 6 energy creation. And every time you're in that care of 6-pointed star, you are playing with the care energy. And when you are caring, can't be losing my breath like this. I had to take some little maji to bring me down. Maji is some density. That's why on your pentagram, it's down there. Water and earth. So I had to drink some water to bring myself down. I was going too high. I was losing my voice. I couldn't even find the words. It was becoming too light. I can only externalize it as a light form, a thought and a feeling. Now, so that 6-pointed star is the care energy. And that care energy is what gives you that DNA ladder. Okay? And that DNA ladder now is what becomes your Rorera. That is what becomes your bloodline. That is what becomes your blood type. That is what becomes your Giarano Kiremaine. Shout out to Morogo Wakimari. Okay? Wakimari, whatever. So now, once you understand that in this DNA, in this Rorera, in this DNA ladder, out of that care energy, and you got there through the 6-pointed star, which is nothing but your fire and emotion, aka your thought and feeling of you going into a new portal as an anxiety, a new experience, then that becomes what matters to you. Okay? Because your mother matters to you. That is even why you talk of a maternal mother and all that crap. So your father matters to you. Your roots matters to you. That is why you care about where you came from. Your forefathers matters to you. That is why you care about your ancestors and spiritual predecessors. Jego Amudaka, take a pause to shout out to your spiritual predecessors. So shout out to all my spiritual predecessors that were there before me, and they were there for me and always want always to be the best of me. Shout out to all of you. Now back to the video. Now you have to know how to call the right ancestors and the right spirits. Mudoni Mogone Dayo. So follow our anniversary. Shout out to Modoni Mogo, one of the soul group. You can give her hearts right there on the channel. You know, this is an interactive show. No one is the fun. We are all a soul group. Okay? All of you watching. So that, now you're understanding spiritually. So that care is your DNA. And now we are about to go into epigenetics. So what is that thing that you care about that has been mattering to you, aka it matters to you? And if it matters to you and you're paying enough attention, then it can come to the point whereby now you are born and you are made of matter. And you have things made of matter in the 3D. Okay? Now, let's say your distance is limited when it comes to rulerships through your DNA. So the thoughts and feelings that you have about rulership, let's say that how the world is being ruled today, you are very distant from that. AKA, before this, you had chiefdoms, you had villages, you had Jama, you had all these forms of rulership that never involved a government. So that means you are very far at a distance spiritually when it comes to manifesting that kind of government. It is still something that is very new to you. Okay? Presidents, deputy presidents, one party systems, two double systems, the right wing, the left wing, democracy, counties. That is something very new to you. So, as a spirit, through your DNA, okay, through that maze, this is something that is very new to you. So when you're observing the politics of Africa and how Africans are always in anxiety when it comes to voting, you can understand what we mean when we keep saying that we are under spiritual warfare. So you are not getting the picture. The reason you are anxious is because you still want to go into new territories. These are still dark spots for you. These are still new spaces for you. And as a spirit, you are afraid of expanding. You always want to contract. You always go to the South Node Energy. You want to go back to Kemet as Africans. You want to go back to your roots. You want to go back to Egypt. You want to go back to the days of the white man coming to you. So you're always living in the past because you don't want to expand. You don't want to go into a new space. And this can be seen even when you go and you cast your votes. You are all anxious. You don't want to go to a new space because you are scared of new spaces. You are scared of new presidents. You are scared of new rulership. And that is why you even keep recycling your leaders. Because as spiritual people, you're afraid of expansion. You're afraid of new spaces. You love to contract. You love to go back to the familiar. That is why you keep recycling the same leaders year in, year out. We are still under the rulership of Kanu. You see, you miss the allegories. You don't know life. So when you go to the book of Noah and you are talking of a man living for 700 years, by now you know in this page that 700 years, no one can live for 700 years. You have to understand the Bible for what it is. The Bible is an occult book. What is occult? Occult is something that is in the shadows, something that is hidden. So the Bible is an occult book. The Bible talks about the hidden. The Bible talks about allegory. The Bible is not a history book. So 700 years of Noah is not someone living, going to peace and shit for 700 years. No, it's a rulership. Okay? A mentality. The mentality of Noah lived for 700 years. Moi, before he retired, said, Kanu will rule for 100 years. Kuna watu walicheka ati, ai, Kanu inaweza aje, ai, chama imebadilika. Who is in rulership now? They are still the students of Moi. So we are still under rulership of Kanu. What do I mean? As an allegory of a mindset, a mentality. So you may think that we are going into new spaces, but we are not, because we have never figured out how to bring in something new, something never seen before, never had before, new politics, new ideas of running the country, new ideas of doing things, or totally new expansion, new space. We are always contracting. And every time you are afraid of going into a new portal, a new experience, a new thing, it means you are anxious. So the country today is anxious, anxiously waiting for who's next, because you cannot go to something new. You are afraid of new things. And for the white people, they have been there, done that. So when they cast their votes, they go on with their lives. They don't care about the results. It's going to come out one way, in one way, shape, or another. Now, whoever takes the seat is a seat. It's not your seat. Okay? Their life will shift into a new world. A new world of being carried around in limousines. A new world of more entitlement. A new world of more gifts. A new world of more more expansions. You can now get free rides in government to go everywhere. You have now what you call I don't even know what you call that, passport. You're in a position to open many more doors in the world as a president. But for you, it is still stagnation. For you, it is pain, no growth. Because until you realize that you need to go into new spaces, expand into new spaces, you'll always be someone spiritually stagnated, aka always anxious. Because you're practicing your own rituals. You're busy participating in rituals that has got nothing to do with you. So now you understand anxiety from a deeper space. Now you understand when you talk of why the country is anxious. Kwina kirera kiho gitiramenyekana uria kihana, kirera kiu gitaramenyekana uria kihana, nikio mwitaga anxious. You are being anxious, and to be anxious is every time you don't want to go to a new space. But when you're spiritually inclined, when you have an equilibrium, knowing that you are neither supposed to take any of the pills, it's neither the red nor the blue, it's neither the right path nor the left hand path, it's always an equilibrium. You'll always be anxious. Hey, shout out to Israel. Shout out to Dhukare Mirakagane Deep. Hey, Karan Kibara. Jagamudaka likes to go deep. So now, we and those who know already know how and who, person, place, or thing will be in charge. We did our little experiment. I deleted those videos. I talk too much. Sometimes I talk too much. It's my throat chakra. Hey, shout out to my throat chakra. I never say I talk too much. I'll always, sometimes you may be walking on eggshells. We did a social experiment. You remember? So we already knew. Now, so let me end this video and start another one immediately, because I need to do a bathroom break. I've been drinking some Samaji. Let me go and piss. It's gonna take me a minute. I'm just going to piss behind the house, right there. Let me go piss. I come back. We start another video immediately.